Pushing beyond limits and wanting to see what that's like. I think pushing beyond my known into the unknown. RAAM, the race across America, the bicycle was really just the vehicle to get to the unknown of what is possible. I've always tried to achieve and push further and further, and I think that Race Across America was, can you really go the distance and survive? I think pushing beyond my limitations into significance, I think is what I was chasing.
All right, what's your fortune? Get that camera on for the video. Mine is, heat is not your friend. Follow your beliefs. Okay.
There you go.
There we go. Jeffrey?
The near future holds a gift of contentment.
Nice. I would like that one. That one.
An enjoyable vacation is awaiting you.
So Race Across America is a race that starts in Oceanside, California, and ends in Annapolis, Maryland. 3,000 plus miles in 12 days, and sleep is optional. 2 years ago, I was doing triathlon. I'd been doing triathlon for 30 years. I absolutely love the sport. I've done 5 Ironman races, 20 to 30 half Ironman races. I've done ultra runs, 100 Ks, done 20 to 30 marathons, and plan to just keep continuing to do Ironman. But 2 years ago, when I was 48, I said, my 50th birthday, I need to do something epic. So you start looking at what is epic. Is it climbing Mount Everest? Is it climbing all the peaks in the West? What is it? And then I said, you know what? I want to do something ultra-oriented. And the Race Across America was mentioned to me. And I said, is that even possible? Those are only crazy people do that.
We're talking about riding through all sorts of terrain, from the highest altitude over 10,000 feet, back down to the plains, cold, wind, heat, 22 hours a day for 2 weeks.
And to continue riding for 12 days without stopping except when you have to stop. That's something that a lot of cyclists can't get their minds around, and that was appealing. A critical component to RAAM is the crew. The Race Across America veterans told me, you can train, but it's not an individual sport. Your crew is critical. And I took that to heart. How in the world am I going to convince 6 to 8 people to spend 12 days of their life, possibly 14 with a couple days on either end, to see me through this race?
So I didn't have the resources to bring on a professional crew or even a coach with RAAM experience. What I had was friends and family. I had my wife, my son, my niece, my 2 brothers who tag teamed the race, friends from work, and I had a friend who agreed to be my crew chief. None of them had 1 minute of RAAM experience. And here we are, trying to do the toughest ultra endurance race in the world.
And I tried to be realistic with them, saying this is something that's going to push you to your limits. I'm doing the cycling, but you are going to be pushed to your sleep deprivation and to your personal limits. Are you sure you want to do this? And everybody said, absolutely, we're in it.
This is the black bag. It says recovery bag. So when I go down, I want this bag here. It basically, if I don't shower, I'm going to wipe myself down. This, if my legs are really hurting and You know, I generally don't like to be touched when I'm in this mode, because if you touch me, I feel like I need to give you my attention, and it's kind of a crazy thing, but I feel like then I'm sucking energy because you're trying to connect with me. But I will let you touch me. I don't mean to be weird, but my last race, they kept touching me. I'm like, okay, you just stop touching me. It just was really bugging me. But this...
I realized early on that this was not an individual sport, that yes, there's a solo rider, but the crew is absolutely critical, and they have to be as committed to you finishing as you are to finishing. In my training for Race Across America, all I kept thinking was, I need to push my body further than it's ever gone. So I kept training and training, anywhere 250 to 600 miles a week, depending on the week and the long ride on the weekend.
I had read that the top cyclist would cycle 36 hours straight, nonstop, no sleep, from the beginning of the race. So in order to keep up with that pace, I thought I had to do the same thing. So in my training, I started cycling through the night to be ready to do what the top cyclists were doing.
8% grade, middle of the night, training for RAAM. My buddy Dave Wallace, crew doc, help me out.
I had built it up so much and I'd pushed myself so much that I actually broke down in training. And I have a friend of mine who was actually my doctor for my race, and he said, you know, I think you might be sick. And I go, no, it's just a cough. I've had it for weeks. He pulled out his stethoscope and he said, you know, you've got fluid in your lungs. Turned out he did a formal examination and with x-rays, and it was confirmed that I had pneumonia. So that was sort of debilitating. I took a week off and felt so guilty that I kept riding. And a month before RAAM, I was in another 400-mile race just as a tune-up race. And I got to about mile 300 and was coughing. I had a saddle sore that I'd never felt before, and I had to drop out on a 400-mile race, which is nothing.
From Dave.
What did he say?
He said, I rode Friday with his jersey on to cheer him on, and I got 10,000 feet for him. Let him know I'm there in spirit.
Awesome. That's cool. Yeah, we gave him an honorary jersey for saving my health.
He's the doctor on call at all times.
Just before the race actually started, all I kept thinking was, I just want to get on the bike and race. Let's just start it already. The anticipation and the build-up, it was just, this is so exhilarating. It's actually going to happen.
To our other rookie in this competition, Marshall Nord from South Carolina.
I was told by the race organizers that I was going to be part of the press conference. Now, the press conference has the elite cyclists, men and women, probably 5 or 6, that have done something notable. They've won in the past, or many of them had come in second, but this was the year they were going to come in first. One woman had won the race in her category 6 times, and there I was. I'm like, what is wrong with this picture?
Now, Marshall, you have achieved all-world athlete status in triathlon, I've been told. Can you explain what that is to us to begin with?
I've been doing multi-sport for about 30 years, and when you get to a certain level...
Yeah, it's pretty inspiring to see him sitting up there with all the pros and stuff. It's pretty cool.
It is kind of surreal that it's actually here. Yeah. And for him to be sitting up there with veteran guys who are like cyborgs, it's kind of freaky. He's probably having an out-of-body experience.
Hopefully it makes us faster.
Aspire to be like these guys.
I imagine. Yes.
David's already said he's got for sale signs ready.
And so I started thinking, look, they want me a part of this to show other ordinary, average endurance athletes that you can do this. So I started to believe that, you know what, I can inspire a whole another generation of ultra cyclists to come and be part of RAAM. It was very exciting.
You know, I've been cold, I've been hot, love the heat, love the mountains. You know, it's just getting in the mindset. The problem is I just don't know when to stop. So they say I fit right in with these guys.
Race coverage starts tomorrow at noon Pacific time here in Oceanside. We'll be kicking off then. Thank you very much. We'll be broadcasting live for part of that on ridefarther.com. Welcome back, everyone, to Oceanside, California for the 35th annual Race Across America.
I'm by nature someone who likes to organize and control and win. And I had planned every detail of this race, and I had to trust that someone would pick up the mantle. And I put that trust in my crew chief, who I hand selected as, of all of them, he's going to be the one to do it.
We're going to screw up. We're going to make mistakes. None of that matters. We're not dealing with a bunch of people who aren't absolutely 110% convinced.
Yeah.
So just know that, okay?
Thank you very much.
Keep that in check.
Yeah. Yeah, if you hadn't signed on, we wouldn't be here, Jeffrey. That's for sure, so.
You can't crew chief from the bike. So I turned it over and I said, I just have to do one thing, ride the bike.
We are done talking about this race. It's time to start. Let's talk more miles.
Plus, my wife, my son, my niece, my two brothers. I had my friend on call as a doctor. I had two good friends that, I'd met through work, and we were going to do this.
And now, from the United States, racer number 550 from South Carolina, please welcome Marshall North. 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Off RAAM way too slow. Everyone was passing me. I was super cautious, and I was way too cautious. I could have gone out a lot harder.
No, that's not his helmet.
I
Don't.
think it's pretty soon because I remember seeing these guys slightly ahead of him.
He passed Jeffrey a little while back.
What I found out within the first 25 miles or 30 miles of the race was that my crew really didn't understand what I needed.
They're not supposed to sit in the water because the bead's oversaturated.
Stan has water.
Will you take it out for me?
They were leaving me. I was running out of bottles. I was I could not settle in.
Did you throw another bottle? And you threw it up here.
I didn't see him throw one. No,
Yeah, one he threw back there.
I was very panicked that, oh no, this isn't gonna go well. I'm yelling from the bike at them saying, I'm not mad, but you've got to give me this nutrition when I need it or I'm gonna die.
The torpedo, there's a rubber holder and it looks like a black torpedo. Please, okay, give it to me next time.
Yeah, Rocket Man.
Right there.
My plan was to cycle for 2 days straight without any sleep, but after the end of the first day, as we went into night, I got really concerned with the confusion I sensed in the crew, with the complex rules of the race and all that they needed to do to keep me going.
I came down here. I walked down here to see if there was any kind of marker or officials or anything. I found nothing. And like I say, everybody kind of collected right here.
What's the process here at the time station? What does he need to do?
We have to call into headquarters, and we have to tell them that we're here. We have to tell them the time we've arrived, and then they will, and our team number.
He has to physically stop each time.
Yeah, and then we call that in. They give us a confirmation number.
Is it like they gonna write a novel, or what are they gonna do? Yeah, I'd like to not make this a half-hour stop.
Go ahead, let's get you over there and get you changed.
I can't move without them, this is my point.
Ah, yes.
Tensions were really high going into that first night. I guess because I was really nervous, the crew and I weren't on the same page, but what was I to expect?
I was a rookie. They were all rookies, as it's told, and the attrition rate for rookies in that race is over 50%. In fact, almost 2/3 of all rookies drop out. If you have a rookie crew and a rookie rider, your chances of finishing are very slim.
Is the problem. Like, we can't refill any bottles before driving.
The most I'd ever ridden previously was 400 miles, and I had never cycled 400 miles or 255, slept a few hours, and did 255 again. And now I was going to have to do it night after night after night for 12 days. It is a race that is unforgiving if you don't stay on task and push through every day. Thankfully, we made it through the first night.
We're gonna make this fast. Woo! Hey!
There he is, there he is.
Hey, but
How are you, friend?
good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks. It was a good night.
I was actually feeling optimistic. I was getting my rhythm. The crew was sort of figuring out what was expected of them.
Yeah. You'll see me coming about 100 yards. I'll wave a bottle if I need something.
Understood.
Then you can grab it.
Right.
And I'll wave whichever bottle it is.
Okay.
The crew was settling in. I was settling into the riding as we moved into Arizona. And as we did that, the temperature started to rise. I did have concerns about heat stroke, not just because it could end my race, but it could end my life if not treated properly. But it was a minor concern. We were doing everything right, and I was really optimistic that we were going to get back on track and finish this race.
Full stop. Look for traffic. Then turn left.
What?
Left turn.
I know. Thanks.
Oh, I think we're pulling it together pretty nicely, actually. Don't you guys?
I think we are.
The whole team is coming together. It's like NASCAR style. We are banging it out. It's really going great.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit, he's coughing a little bit, but I think he's good.
Yeah.
I
See,
hope
it
he's
seems
good.
slow, but it's slow because this is, even though it appears flat, it's actually an incline, and these poor guys have just been
This is tough.
creeping up the altitude over and over and over. It's got to be what a stupid thing to do. Why are we out here?
Marsh is taking a little break to eat and to recuperate. He's been for his first pee after 2 days. And yeah, he's found the last bit quite tough. It's been quite tough on him. It's been high winds and against him and slight incline. So with this heat, that just probably felt brutal. Hence why his feet probably jogged quite a bit.
I was thinking when I was riding, I mean, the first day was a little, what are we doing? And I had my thing, and I had to like, hey, I'm not mad, but let me be clear. But just today has been flawless. You guys are awesome. I can't stress how, when I would go out and ride by my own, you know, it's one thing, but when you're doing this and trying to make time, and with the crew is everything, and I really, really can't thank you enough.
Once we got into the race, I realized, wow, you know, I did a lot of things right in training. I mean, I had no neck pain, no knee pain, no ankle pain. Physically, I felt strong. Mentally, I was getting tired, but I had moments of, this is such a gift. It's the perfect 50th birthday gift. All I have to do is ride my bike. I've got people that are gonna feed me. If I break down, I've got a follow van behind me with everything I need. I don't have to worry about my route. I've got GPS. I've got people in the van radioing me where to go. All I have to do is ride my bike. And there were moments of truly amazing euphoria where I would look around and just go, this is amazing to be out in nature, riding your bike with people who believe in you, following you.
Good stuff. Carry on.
So RAAM is a race. It's not a ride. It's not a fun ride. These are the most elite cyclists in the world, in the ultra world, that are out there racing. And for them, it's serious business. For me, it was serious business, but I just wanted to finish. But RAAM is a race. It's the race across America. And within that, they have just over 50 time stations. But then there are 3 major checkpoints that you have to hit within a certain amount of time. And these checkpoints are designed to weed out the slower riders. If you don't hit the checkpoints at the designated time, the likelihood is that you will not be able to finish the race. And the first one is in Durango. In fact, everyone say, just get to Durango, get to Durango. It's some of the steepest climbing of the race. You're going through the harshest environments. You're going from the desert, and then 12 hours later, you're up into the mountains. And that first checkpoint is critical. I was 12 hours behind.
Stand up. Well, we're 2 stations away from Durango still. And that is important to us because that's the cutoff. That's when, if we're not fast enough, we're not going to make it. We're not qualifying the field. I've just been sitting here cranking out some of the math, and at his current state, you know, we're just not going to make it. That's just sort of the harsh reality of it. And even if they give us a grace or we pull it out and we just make it, the current conditions it doesn't extend out nicely enough for the rest of the trip. So by the next disqualification process, which is the Mississippi River, I'm not sure that it's in there. You know, things do get better as you go on. Your body acclimates to what you're actually trying to get it to do. And you know, some of the nutritional problems we've had, some of the exhaustion issues we've had are commonplace. And they kind of use Durango as the benchmark for you. If you can live to Durango, then you might actually stand a chance. We got to we got to go. But we're on our way, and it's stressful.
I knew going into the race that yes, the time stations or the checkpoints were critical. You have to make them. Not only because you're going to be disqualified, but if you don't make that checkpoint, most likely you're not going to make the next checkpoint. And then the final checkpoint, just towards the end of the race, if you're not there, they pull you out. You can't continue because there's mathematically no way that you can finish the race in the time allotted. I knew that first 3 days were the toughest part of the race, and I really believed I could make it up.
Marshall, how are you feeling right now as we approach this next sort of chunk of riding?
So what happens on day 3, now we're into day 4, for RAAM riders,
Lean on my back.
is the rider starts to deteriorate, and that's normal. So the crew has to do more and more and more for the rider. Did I say that? I think I'm deteriorating. So we have a 50-mile uphill. On a normal day, cycling, 50-mile uphill, easy, maybe 4 hours. Today, might be 10. We'll find out.
Going into that night, I was fairly optimistic that we were going to hit Durango on time. And then as the sun set, the roads deteriorated. It was endless stretch of gravel roads and graded roads, so much that my hands hurt and my feet hurt with every bump.
He's stopping.
Wait, can't stop here. Marshall, can you just pull off into the next? Can you just go into the next? Yeah, just go. We are at 38.6 right now.
So we're at 38,
Yeah,
we have to go to 50,
yeah.
and we don't know when the gravel stops.
The gravel stops at mile 45.
Okay. Oh, you're kidding. Really?
Well, I don't know if it stops completely. It might stop a little bit before then. Hopefully so.
How do you know 48?
Well, 45, there's a turning, so there's a new road there. Go to the next
I
lay-by.
just can't get any speed up because it's all...
No. All right. Well, go to the next lay-by and take a short break there, okay?
That night heading into Durango was the biggest test of my endurance that I was going to face during RAAM. I didn't know if I was going to make it. The roads were terrible. I was exhausted. The psychological effect that had on me was that if I can just get here, oh, you're not there. If I can just get here, oh, you're not there. I finally said, I need to sleep. I need to go down. Even before the checkpoint, knowing that I would be late.
5 feet off the road so he doesn't make... Sorry, it's been a long day. I gotta lie down for a second.
So I got in the van, they were gonna put me down, and then a phone call comes in. It was our crew chief.
I'm on. Hi. Hello.
Hi, buddy. Okay, so here's the deal. You are going to be DNF. They will not be officially DNF here in Durango tonight. You can come in anytime you want, and it's all okay.
I don't understand what you're saying. Can I go?
I'm telling you, the officials here told me that you will be DNF, most likely. The headquarters said he will not DNF you tonight. But if you can't make up the time and make it to the Mississippi on time, then yeah, you're being DNF.
So when do I have to get to the Mississippi?
Wednesday at 3 o'clock.
Well, why wouldn't I just keep racing and try to get to the Mississippi by Wednesday?
I'm just trying to give you the information so you can make the decision.
What are your thoughts?
Let me just think for a second.
Okay.
Do you want me to give you...
He essentially said that the officials are gonna disqualify me. DNF, did not finish, but we're not gonna officially disqualify him because we're gonna give him a chance to make up the time. And that he recommended I drop out of the race, that it really, there's no point. And it was almost a dream. Like, what do you mean I'm gonna drop out of the race? Like, I couldn't, in fact, I started handing the phone back like, I don't wanna talk to this person. I don't wanna talk to anybody that tells me I need to drop out. I just need to sleep for a little bit. I was in disbelief that the one person I had counted on to push me through was the first person to say, you know, I think we should just bag it. So I think that disbelief and anger fell upon me. And I said, you know what, I'm not gonna sleep. I'm gonna jump back on the bike and push on. my crew that was with me on the overnight were super supportive, and they knew I wanted to push beyond and that I was tired. But when I told them I need to go down, they didn't really understand that I really needed to go down. Like, I'm not just tired, but I'm beyond exhausted.
We can get to Durango just like we were planning to.
I don't know whether you think we should go on to the next time station, or whether we should just quit now. But I know that mentally you probably feel like he needs to get to Durango.
I was nearing Durango, and all I could think of was, I have part of my crew that says, give up, you can't do it. Part of my crew is super confident I can do it and pushing beyond my limits.
Wait, I heard he's not going to be a DNF tonight.
That's what I heard.
That's what we wanted.
So if we can get 10 miles up the road, we can take a rest, you can take a rest, easy peasy.
I was pushed, and I'm not blaming the crew. The road in this stretch of Colorado was gravel. I was having a hard time staying upright without falling down. I was falling asleep on the bike, and all I could think of was that our crew chief thinks I'm not going to finish, so I've got to keep going.
Towards that beautiful moon at the end of the road.
When I finally got to Durango, I was trashed, like beyond tired, like trashed. And we pulled into a parking lot to sleep, a designated parking lot. The next crew, my brother and my wife said, okay, great, you're gonna sleep for a few hours and then we're gonna go. And they were super excited. They took over for the previous crew. And I looked at him and said, it's done. I'm finished. My brother came in and he said, okay, I tell you what, why don't you just sleep for a couple hours and then get up, and then we're just gonna put you on the bike and just see how far you can go. I truly believed that I wouldn't be able to make it out of the parking lot. I slept a couple hours. They came back, they fed me, put me on the bike, and had no expectations. They said, just see how far you could go. And wherever it is, you stop and we'll stop. Once I rested and got back on the bike and the sun came up, I started feeling better.
You trashed me last night, but I don't hold it against you. Let me sit up. Ah, glorious.
I was rejuvenated. I actually started gaining ground. And I'm riding through Colorado and we're getting into Kansas, and I'm 12 hours behind, and I feel stronger than ever. And I'm like, 12 hours? I can make up 12 hours. So here I was, had gone through
hell, basically, survived it, and had a new perspective, a newfound energy for RAAM. And we're pushing on. We're 12 hours behind, but we all keep thinking, hey, we can make up 12 hours. That's a little bit here, a little bit there, a little less stopping, riding a little faster. And my body had finally figured out, oh, this is what you want me to do.
You know, I went to RAAM University the first 3 days, which was my body going, what the heck are we doing? Oh, this is what you want me to do. Oh, well, we need to make these adjustments. Okay, now I'll perform for you. It was really rough. So now what's really helpful is these time stops or segments. Literally, you ride segment to segment. So now I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna do this, and then I'll be like, oh, I should go work out. You know, so then you go work out and you go, oh, I'm done with my workout. So now I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna eat, relax now. Oh, I should go work out. So that's kind of where I am right now. So just taking it a segment at a time.
So I felt great. And I truly felt like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make the next checkpoint in time and we're gonna finish RAAM. But something was brewing and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I had no idea the toll that this race was taking on the crew and how it was going to ultimately affect the race. Fatigue was definitely setting in. I was exhausted, but pushing beyond. Just had a long night. I'd just gotten up from a brief sleep and my crew chief poked his head in the van and my wife was there and he said, well, I've got to talk to you. I'm like, well, sure, talk to me. And I'm getting ready, trying to get going, really psyched for this next 23 hours or 22 hours of riding. And he said, there have been fires in California. And I said, well, there are always fires in California. And he said, oh, my father's property is being burned. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. Is he okay? Yes. Are there any structures in danger? Well, no. Okay, he said, I'm gonna leave the race.
And then we'll go from there and I'll work out who I can call.
Okay, very good.
All righty.
Just a second.
All righty, thank you. Bye.
Are we doing this meal thing?
Yeah, we're gonna eat. Let's go eat.
As we've heard, Jeffrey has to go home with the van. Apparently they're affected by some of the wildfires in California. However, that's left us in a bit of a pickle because now we have just the follow bag and a rental.
And 6 days to go?
Yeah, 6 days to go, and also a lot of luggage.
Just update me on what's happening.
So it's day 6, halfway through Kansas, marching towards Mississippi, the big deadline down there, and this is just tough. It's really tough. I really had a hard time leaving Marshall. That's not fair. It's not fair to this whole team. It's not fair. Mother Nature just had its way with me today. That's all there is to it, really. So we're scrambling to pull resources together here so that I can get into my vehicle and get back to California, and these guys can get to the Mississippi and make sure that he's qualified and then take him all the way to Annapolis and come home with a big trophy. Because nothing would make me happier.
It was almost like I couldn't believe what he said, and I said, I thought he was gonna say, I'm just kidding. But he said, no, I'm gonna drop out and leave the race. And not only that, I'm gonna take my vehicle with me. This machine that was competing in RAAM consisted of 3 vehicles. There was always a follow vehicle behind me because I, in theory, never stopped except when I went down. So you had 2 other vehicles. They were leapfrogging, one going up to rest, one going to getting provisions, and then they're rotating every 8 hours.
Here we go.
When the crew chief left and took a vehicle, now not only do we not have 3 vehicles with leapfrogging and getting supplies on 8-hour shifts, in theory, now we have 2 vehicles with 12-hour shifts. And that thing of losing a vehicle and losing a crew chief put them in harm's way. And there were points where I was really very concerned that we were gonna have a major accident. Someone was gonna fall asleep,
We were heading into the last third of the race, and it just seemed that RAAM was throwing everything it had at me. The crew that remained were amazing, because what I noticed in the crew after the crew chief left was they actually came together in a more unified way, and they were more determined than ever to get me to the finish. I had this new outlook on the race. I was still a little off balance, but mentally and physically, believe it or not, I felt very strong. And so my tactic was that I'm just gonna ride a little faster. I was 12 hours behind my cutoff last time in Durango. If I now have made up that 12 hours, and now only deficit, I missed it by 3 or 4 hours, that's a huge thing. So we still need to press on, try to get as close as we can.
Jolly good.
I had one crew member doing sort of an algorithm or something in the van. He was doing all this mathematics, and you just got to do this, got to do this.
You have 588.6 miles to that checkpoint. You have 41 hours in total from 10 p.m. tonight. If you had 4 hours of rest and 37 on the bike, you would need a 15.9 mile an hour average.
And it made perfect sense. Well, just ride a mile an hour faster. Just do this. Don't stop as long here. It was completely logical. The one illogical factor was I was 6 days into a 12-day race, and I had slept maybe 10 hours.
Thank you. I've got pancakes and sausage too from the next stop, but
What a strange looking device. Looks like a little creature from outer space. Did you know, ladies and gentlemen, that sleep deprivation is just as dangerous and awkward as being drunk?
And that played a big factor in the reality check of what is RAAM. By the time we hit Missouri, going through the Ozarks, through Illinois and Indiana and Ohio, sleep deprivation was taking hold.
Do you want to take a caffeine tablet? Yeah? Okay. Bye.
I was used to dozing off in the middle of the night, but now I'm dozing off in the middle of the day. I was really having a hard time staying awake on the bike.
No, it's just, road like disappears. So things, I'm just kind of trusting that what's in front of me is right. It just gets all blurry, and it's kind of like it feels just before you fall asleep. But I don't know why it just comes on suddenly, because I practiced riding through the night, but not 8 days in a row, you know, whatever it is.
How does that feel when you hit the night time and feeling that sort of drunk tiredness?
Well, your body wants to stop, so you got to push through it.
There's something called RAAM speed that you can't ride any faster than you're riding. So the way you ride faster is you stop less. There were a couple days where I just didn't hit my mark. I needed to do at least 255 miles a day on the bike, and mathematically, it was very possible. But there were 2 days where I missed that. Physically, I could pedal. Emotionally, I felt great. The crew was super supportive.
I'm planning to just ride hard all day long, and it would really be fantastic to hit the finish line. Yeah, that's ambitious. But...
It's ambitious, but this whole thing's ambitious, isn't it?
Well, don't say it like that. It is.
I just couldn't stay awake. The sleep deprivation was the devil in the details that really
was my undoing.
I got it all. I've gotten a call from headquarters. They gave us a pre-call call because they're going to be calling tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock to say you're not going to be able to finish. So we need to know how far you want to go between now and 10 in the morning. The map just doesn't work funny with the hills, the mountains.
As I started to realize that I wasn't going to make it, I was truly devastated.
Well, I guess the satisfying thing is that this course didn't break me. Right. I just can't do it fast. And that was part of the whole thing to find out. But it does honestly, it's disappointing.
But I was resolved. You know, I honestly wasn't angry. We had tried our best.
I didn't do RAAM to get some sort of self-affirmation that I am worth something. For me, RAAM was trying to achieve a goal that was beyond what I thought I might have been able to achieve. And during the race, with the crew members that were left, my wife and my son, and my niece, my two brothers, dear friends that had come alongside me, they were really showing me what it's like to love somebody unconditionally. And there were moments where I was overwhelmed, but there were moments where I just considered that, wow, what a gift that these human beings would come alongside me, seeing me at my worst and my best, pushing them to their worst and their best of probably something they'd never thought was possible. The community there was amazing. I could never repay them for their effort and their support. And it struck me very hard that I'm not going to finish RAAM, but how grateful I was. Grateful to God that I had a body that could ride a bike that far, but also grateful that I had a community of people that wanted to help me achieve my goal.